Well, hello everyone. Figured I'd put a quick video together. Had my actual OP5 event yesterday, and after watching Teri and her video talking about the Cloaked Mines, and me actually having used Cloaked Mines in the last event, I figured I'd just kind of talk about this and kind of give my perspective on what she had said. While I definitely like her videos and nothing about what she said, I think what her point was quite valid, that if you're trying to get away from the Cloaked Mine, the 2 and the 3 hard turn are great. They'll definitely get you away from the mines. However, in my experience, in my perspective, that is exactly what I want you to do. If I'm the one with the Cloaked Mines, I mean, going through them, of course, is great. I mean, rolling free attack dice is always a good thing. We saw that especially with OP5, with OP5 and the orbital weapon platforms. I mean, free dice is always nice. However, in the case of the Cloaked Mines, my personal take is that they serve 2 purposes. One is area denial. I want to put it out there, and my goal is to dare you to come through that huge area. As you can see here with the one Cloaked Mine token that we have out, I mean, as Teri was showing, a range 1 is great. I mean, this is huge. I mean, it's just a gigantic chunk of the board. You know, when you can literally go from one side to the other. I mean, great area of effect. So my first purpose in using the Cloaked Mine is to say, okay, if you want to come this way, you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have a huge chunk of space. Usually, I end up getting to roll the 3 attack dice at least 2 times against most ships. Rarely do people actually clear the Cloaked Mines when they decide to go through it. But in a better way, it's the fact that most people are really afraid of the Cloaked Mines. Again, 3 dice, unmodifiable. There's nothing I can do to make them more effective. Yeah, it's a little scary. Again, a scan action can reduce that to 2, but especially with like Federation players, I just don't see it being that big of a threat to the ship itself, unless of course it's later in the game. My big thing, though, of course, is cloaked ships. You know, anytime I get to roll free dice and you don't get a chance to evade against it, I'm always happy with that. So, but that fear is really the driving factor in why people are so willing to turn away. As Teri was showing in her video, what I've got here, I've got what I was using in my setup. I had the Chitang and the Mata, and then we've got 2 Federation ships. In this case, the Excelsior and the Sutherland. Now, in using the Cloaked Mine, my goal, of course, is to get as much of an area effect against these ships as I can. Real quick, though, here is the actual card. I'll let you take a quick look at that, just so you have the actual text. Okay. So, here's what I got for my setup. I've got the Mata here. In this particular instance, let's just assume we're jousting, which is what Teri had kind of set up. So, got my minefields. I've got my ship here. Now, I can only do range 2 for me as the maximum, and I have to be outside of range 2 from whatever enemy ship I'm kind of dumping it in front of. So, here's the Mata. Now, range 2 is definitely too close, which means I'm not going to be able to get it there. But, so if I measure from here, there's range 2. I'm going to drop the mine like that, so you can see the effect and the area. Now, as Teri showed, with these ships, they can do a hard 2. Boom. And you're exactly right. You are now completely have no concern with the Cloaked Mines because you are now right out of range 1. So if I set this down, range 1, you're clear. I'm not rolling dice. Here's the issue, though. Whenever I use this, as soon as I drop it, I always go a 2 forward. Which puts me right on top of my own mines. Excuse me. There we go. So, the main issue is now these two ships, you have the Excelsior and you have the Sutherland, have basically put themselves in a very bad position. The Sutherland itself, with the 90-degree forward firing arc, just like the Enterprise D, you're out of it. You can't do anything this round. All you can do is evade and hope that I don't shoot at you. With the Excelsior, though, at least you are with the 180-degree firing arc. You can shoot back, but my goal, in this type of a setup, and the list that I ran, the Shatang at this point is going to drop barrage of fire. We are at range 2. You can see that here, which means that I'm dropping in this particular build. With the Klingon independent flagship on the Mata, I'm rolling 11 dice. Of course, because of the Shatang's ability, I'm re-rolling. And I've got Picard on there, so I got battle stations to manipulate the dice. In the games that I played yesterday, on Saturday, each game that I went with the barrage of fire, I got 10 hits. Which with the one evade dice, and even with an evade action, you have 9 points there. 5 from the shields, 4 from the hull. Let's say you miss the evade, either the ship is completely crippled with just a couple of hit points left, or in most instances, the ship's completely gone, because especially in OP5, you still had the orbital weapon platforms you're shooting. And then in future turns, basically with the Shatang and the Mata, they're just going to kind of cozy on up, and wherever the Sutherland goes, I'm going to be able to shoot at it. And I'm shooting at it from the rear. It can't shoot back. So essentially, I'm using the Cloaked Mines to force you into a situation where your ships are useless. You're away from the fight. The best instance from my recent tournament, I dropped the mines early against a Klingon fleet, and he chose to run away. Basically did a 3 come about, because he was probably well past range 3, but he saw what I was doing after blowing up a couple of OWPs and made some room, dropped the token, and he decided he was just going to run away. Well, when he turned his back, of course, next turn, push 4 forward, got within range 3, and just started pelting them, and there was really nothing he could do at that point. He was just running away. So, in my experience, I say run right through the Cloaked Mines. Just eat it. You're going to you might take some damage, but it's way better than putting your ships out of position, because in this game, it's not as much as the dice rolls really do they really are major factors. If you're throwing tons of dice, manipulating the dice, and also, if you have good action economy, you're halfway there, but flying is really where you're going to win the game. If you can force your opponent to fly into where you want him to be, it makes it even easier. So, Teri, I love your videos. I love the fact that you kind of threw that out there, and even had an opponent literally do exactly what you said for him to do, and this is why I'm kind of making this video. Because he did that, and then the game was over. There was nothing he could do, because he could not get his ships back into position. In his case, he was using a Dominion ship, and those things just turn like boats. There's really nothing he could do at that point. So, I guess it kind of depends on who's dropping the mines. I mean, if it was a Federation build dropping Cloaked Mines, like with the Excelsior using that tech slot, or even the Romulans, which are not quite as maneuverable, except for the Valdor, of course. But the Dare dexes really are not very maneuverable. But using the Cloaked Mines with Klingons, it's just really nice to force your opponent into making a really a bad decision most of the times. So I hope I'm not giving away too many of my tips and tricks for my next OP event, but just wanted to kind of throw that out there. So Terry, thanks for your videos. Really appreciate them. Love what you're doing, and we'll one day I'm sure we'll meet each other on the playing field. So for everybody else, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them down below. Again, Terry, I know Terry does a pure faction build in her OP events. My OP events are mixed factions, so of course, you're never going to see Klingons with Cloaked Mines, but we're around here in this neck of the woods. This is definitely something that we see, and it's even encouraged a little bit. So again, any questions or comments, throw them below. I'll see if I can answer any, or maybe make another video if anything is warranted. So thanks so much. Thanks for watching.